FirstCoast.tv had a chance to visit the new complex, the Mosquito Control District Base Station Complex. It's part of St. Johns County. It is partially operational right now, and they are holding a international mosquito conference and workshop. I got a chance to tour the buildings and get to see rooms. A lot of equipment is being brought in. Like I said, the building is partially operational, but in about 30 days it should be fully operational. It's state-of-the-art science. So much to learn about the insects that can affect us in negative ways and what to do to keep the community safe. After touring all the rooms, I had the chance to talk with Christopher Bibbs, not only about this new complex, but also about the International Mosquito Conference and Workshop being held at this new complex. So here it is.
All right, this is FirstCoast.tv. We're here with Christopher Bibbs, and he's one of the many people organizing this big mosquito conference. And there's people from all over the world for this, aren't they?
Yeah, so this year is our 13th annual Arbovirus Surveillance and Mosquito Control Workshop. Now, the nature of this is that it is a multidisciplinary meeting in order to share ideas about not just mosquito control, but many of the things that affect our mosquito control. So you'll find not just operations like how do you spray mosquitoes, but also how do mosquitoes behave, how do they live, and what are some things to keep an eye on the horizon, such as viruses, traveling notices, and other things. This does get a lot of international attention. So this year we have visitors from Mali in Africa. Israel is another typical member of our conference. This year we have Saudi Arabia, which is a new one. We frequently have people from various countries in Europe, Australia, and of course all across the United States.
Wow. Yes, I was shocked. I walked in that room, which is a very, very large room, and it was packed. I literally had to look for a place to sit, and I was lucky. Now, a lot of people, when they think of mosquito control, your typical layman like myself, we see a truck spraying a neighborhood if there's an incidence of a lot of mosquitoes. Mm-hmm. But you guys here were talking about ticks and repellents and so many things that were related to mosquitoes but also not related to mosquitoes.
Right. So mosquito control is kind of a Florida thing. In everywhere outside of Florida, it's vector abatement. So anything that could carry a disease is going to be something of concern. Now, if you're in an area like Louisiana or California, that could include rats. If you're up north, they contend with Lyme disease, and that includes ticks. So being that this has a national but also international emphasis, we cover vectors as a whole, because even though we prioritize mosquito control in Florida and in this county, we're affected by those other vectors as well. We have ticks that carry Lyme disease. We have ticks that carry other diseases. We have hantavirus that are a possible risk with rats. And we also have other things we don't want here. We've had talks about chikungunya, dengue, Zika, which are not established in the U.S., but are in our neighboring countries, and so we need to know about. So as part of that picture, we need to know a lot more than just the technology of our spray trucks and, the details about how to do that, timing, flow rates, and new chemicals. But that's such a small part of what we do nowadays. We do a lot of surveillance. We advocate something called integrated vector management, where rather than going out and doing routine spray missions, we set out traps and other forms of surveillance to figure out where things are occurring, what mosquitoes, when are the mosquitoes, and what and when viruses. Through the combination of various stressors, we then make a call about what is the best tactic to engage, because it isn't necessarily about going out and routinely knocking down the mosquitoes. It's about suppressing an outbreak or a risk immediately. Mm-hmm. And so the fast response is our priority in the modern times. Mm-hmm. So as part of that, ecology, behavior, and other biology, as well as things we don't necessarily use in our operations, such as repellents. Repellents are something available every day to the normal consumer. It's something we need to know about because people ask us all the time, what should I use, or what do you think is good?
Right, the girl had a presentation, which is very interesting. This Victoria bombshell was quite effective. I was surprised, and it was an eucalyptus, and then, of course, DEET. Mm-hmm. And that's the other point I realize is the massive education, not just of course, the scientists and the people, but the public, because the reason we don't really smoke anymore in our society, like when I was a boy, it was through education, and I think that's awesome. I think that's awesome.
Yeah, definitely. So we have many levels of that educational effort. On a local level, here I'm the education specialist, so I'm responsible for taking the information like what you'd see at these conferences and sort of translating that for our employee base. Our employee base is very hands-on and they're very service-oriented, so they really want the pragmatic approach and they want to know, okay, cherry pick the details for me to give me that list that I can give to somebody else if they ask me that question. And that's very important to them because when they're out there, they're kind of out alone. You know, they all have a portion of the county they take care of, but they don't have partners riding in the truck with them. So if somebody comes up and flags them down, it's like, hey, I got a question for you. There's not backup there in case they don't know the answer.
Right.
So they're just as responsible for, what we're taught as I would be as the educator in this district.
Right.
But even more in the same, our upper administrative staff, our executive director and supervisors, we have to keep on the ball about updating our technologies and what we're doing. So we hold this conference, but we also attend other national and state conferences such as mosquito control associations and vector ecology societies so that we always know what's going on. We're always up to date on the new viruses, and we have a constant link and open communication with USDA, CDC, EPA, FDA, DEP, and various others.
All right. Now, this conference is a 3-day conference. Today is Wednesday, so it started yesterday, Tuesday, and it will go on till Thursday.
Yes, that is correct. So this conference is typically a 3-day conference, and it does frequently start on a Tuesday, so Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. Now, this year's a little special. There is a new federal initiative called the NE1443. It is a multi-state vector control initiative. It's a federal project that was given a panel of experts kind of cherry-picked, and it's like, we know you guys do good work, and given a task that they needed to create unified objectives for not just their one state or even one county. We serve as St. Johns County. We have our own objectives to that end, but there's also like what is important for public health as a whole for all of you guys, because if you had all these districts working on a problem together, you're much more likely to solve it. That's their job. And so our 3rd day this year is special because the NE1443 will be talking about their objectives, the consensus that they're trying to reach, and their plan of action that they would like to see other vector controls pursue.
All right. Well, I thank you very, very much. I saw your presentation on ticks. That was very interesting. I was not aware of how much disease they carry and how they prey on human beings also, as much as they do, farm animals and dogs, domestic animals, things like that. So I thank you very much for letting FirstCoast.tv come in here and take a look at this conference.
Oh, it's no problem.
and good luck with everything.
Thank you.